Steven Spielberg is back. One of our greatest living filmmakers has returned once again to grace us with his first sci-fi film in a long time. And when you consider that sci-fi is very much a cornerstone for what a lot of people know of Spielberg, some of his most popular stuff, Close Encounters and E.T., it feels like a no-brainer that he would return to it at some point. And so we have Disclosure Day, a film that takes, I would say, a much darker. I mean, it's still a 12A in the UK, PG-13 in America. Everyone pretty much can enjoy this, but it's much more contemplative and real. There are elements of this film that are very, very gritty. And I sit there, I'm like, okay, Stephen, what have you got for me? What have you got for me? And my God, this guy, I wasn't even worried because it's Spielberg. It was amazing. I thought this film was amazing.
I loved it. Hearing from other people saying, oh, it's a slow burner, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm like, 2 hours and 20 minutes of Spielberg? Give me here right now. But no, this is such a profound film. We got the Fablemans as he took a reflection into his filmmaking journey. But this time round, this is more about the reality of sci-fi in a way. Like he wants to bring that back. How sci-fi impacts us is about faith and understanding and communication. We're so connected with them and how powerful they are. Human connection is terrifying but beautiful at the same time. Spielberg, he's still got the magic. He's incredible, incredible. I don't know how he does it still.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
What a decade Steven Spielberg is having. In the 2020s, he's made West Side Story, Fablemans, and Disclosure Day. And before this film came out, I set myself the gargantuan task of watching every single Spielberg.
Indeed.
I am now a Spielberg expert. I've seen them all. And I have to say that the 2010s are by far his most underwhelming decade as a filmmaker. Some of his worst films are unfortunately found in there, but the fact that he can have what is one of his strongest decades, he's on a roll. And for him to be on a roll at such an age, I think he said that his next film is a Western because he's never done a Western before. Incredible. Come on, that's
I'm already hooked.
film of the year, whatever year that comes out in.
I think that's in his DNA. It's interesting, when you said making a musical is so difficult. And I'm like, how the heck do you make this then? Like with Disclosure Day or Fablemans or with a Western, he's like a machine. He spends like 5 hours sleeping. He's on director mode all the time.
Is that
He's
true?
just like, yes.
I should sleep less.
Wow. He is an icon. So Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day surrounds these two characters. One is a cybersecurity guy who withholds secrets from a company that has alien government secrets, but he wants to disclose it to the public. And we also follow a weather person who somehow can understand languages through this alien speech. It's such a fascinating plot line to follow through in this 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Blew by. I mean, honestly,
Flew
I
by.
did not feel I would say that I don't know if I mentioned this, but I have seen every Spielberg film. And I have to say that, like, for me, Spielberg's biggest issue all throughout his career is pacing. I think that a lot of the time his pacing isn't amazing. And in this film, I didn't feel that at all. I thought it was very well paced. It kept me extremely engaged. I think because you're following these two characters, our weather person, who is Emily Blunt, her story moves a bit slower to start with, whereas cybersecurity guy Josh O'Connor is kind of like straight into it. And so being able to cut back and forth between the two of them, it creates this nice little dichotomy where I never felt bored. But another great thing about Spielberg, I don't know if I mentioned this, John, but I have watched all the Spielberg films, and the thing. And the thing that I love is that he doesn't necessarily have a consistent pool of actors that he's always working with. I mean, yes, there are a few films with Tom Hanks and there are a few films with Tom Cruise and, Harrison Ford, obviously. But at the end of the day, he's always bringing in new talent. In this film, the only person who's worked with Spielberg before is Colman Domingo, and he was only in a very small part of Lincoln.
Yes.
To get Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor, they're both so great in their own right, and just to have them in a Spielberg film, it's just, and also Colin Firth as well, who's the head of the organization, kind of going after them. I thought that they were just so great. I think Emily Blunt turns in maybe the best performance I've ever seen from her. the toll that it takes on her to have all this information in her head. There's a fantastic scene where she has a panic attack, and it's so amazing to see her kind of grapple with her own trauma and also immediately having this knowledge. And there's a moment where she's like, I don't want to become your religion. She doesn't want to become this kind of messianic figure.
Yes.
I just thought it was amazing, her whole role in this.
There's a brilliant one-take sequence in Newsroom where she somehow communicates everybody. She can speak Russian, she can speak Korean, and she knows the person's history or the family or anything. And that entire sequence was incredible. Like how the camera kept you curious. It ends with her speaking the alien language, which the sound team thought they could use AI to get the sounds of the alien. But Emily Blunt was like, no, I want to make those sounds. So she experimented all different types of sounds and gave that to the sound team. And they'd done a brilliant job with that sound, and how she done that was incredible. I think that was a great way to make that feel organic as well. There's something about that performance that sold me so well. And the third act really, really was so philosophical, so profound in the way that you follow her in this journey. Absolutely brilliant stuff with Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor. One of my favorite moments was when he was talking about that he can't remember his childhood. Colman, Domingo's character, tells him about what it means to forget your childhood, you know, who you were and all those things that are lost. And I thought that was something that speaks to you with memories and then how you forget all the things that made you. I thought that was such a profound moment from him to have some sort of self-discovery.
It's supremely well cast, and as ever with Spielberg, even the small roles feel like they have so much going on, and this film even highlights some of that. I think especially the ending makes it so overtly clear of how everyone is living a life of emotion, and to have somebody else who sees you. I think that's kind of Emily Blunt's thing, is that people are so often like, oh my god, this person has just walked up to me and touched me in such a deep way in how she speaks to me. I think everybody's kind of searching for that, and that in its own way is everyone's personal disclosure, to be open and to be seen. There's a really great motif. If you want to talk about Spielberg just as a filmmaker, I don't know if I've mentioned this, John, but I have watched all the Spielberg films.
Get the counter ready.
You're going to be so tired of this bit by the end of the episode. But the thing that I love about Spielberg is just how he's just such a wizard behind the lens. There's so many great always. I love how he shoots things through glass. There's a bit at the beginning when Colin Firth and like his main right-hand guy are like talking about Colman Domingo's character. And in the reflection of the glass, you can see Colman Domingo's face on a screen, which is just so great. But there's this really, really interesting motif about eyes in this film and about what happens when you see an eye. The very first time that Emily Blunt sees within somebody, it's when a guy takes off his glasses and their eyes meet. And there's this idea of the eyes of different colors when Colin Firth is doing his force projection thing. I think it's these very specific human elements that the film highlights and is reminding us of. Eyes are the window to the soul, and we see parallels between every human in that regard. Everyone has a soul, and that carries through animals and other beings. And this is difficult because I'm touching on spoilers now.
We will get to spoilers, Tom. Don't worry. But we will get to spoilers.
But like eyes become so important to feeling the emotions of not just the human characters, but the animals and everything that we see.
Yes.
The eyes are so important to that, and there are so many shots where it's like, look there. It's so amazing. But also, this is a big film. This is a blockbuster. To me, this is the beginning of the summer season. It feels like we've got weeks of wall-to-wall bangers, and also Moana. And
Moana, no!
Don't worry, we will not be covering that on this show.
Oh, thank goodness.
Rest easy. And there's just some really, really good car chase scenes. Spielberg has made so many great car chases. I have watched every Spielberg film.
He has watched every Spielberg guy.
He has. He's done it. And
he's done it.
There are so many that you wouldn't think that he'd still be able to surprise you, but he just can. There's this moment in a farmhouse where a car drives through the wall and then drives through another wall, and the combination of the sound design and the fact that we don't cut a million times on impact and the framing of it all. Like there's one, it comes out of the farmhouse and then we kind of pull back as other cars converge on it, and it's just so simple. It feels like on paper it's not even something that is noteworthy, but it is. And then there's this insanely tense sequence with a train and a car that, oh my god, I was watching and I was just like, the whole time. There was such a weight to it and such an energy, and that brought just this incredible emotion. I just like, how does he do it, man? How does he do it?
I don't know. Ask the guy himself. He knows what he's doing.
Introducing Steven Spielberg.
Guys, he's here.
He's a guest.
He's a guest. That's the dream. But the other thing that intrigued me way before Disclosure Day came out was the promotion behind all of this.
Right.
So we didn't know much about this film. There was whispers of like Spielberg, he's making an alien movie. He's making something
back.
in secrecy. I thought that was such a cool piece of marketing that you don't exactly know what he's promoting. Like the very first thing we get to see a bit of a tease is the eye. That there's a poster of the eye and it shows him like that. And see, that brings so much for this movie together, with eyes being the ones of like, you see truth, you see colors, you see beautiful things, like something that he really wants to resonate with. I think he's telling us that he's got a fantastic eye for filmmaking, with that. So
He's back. He's here.
I'm back. Yeah, and then the other thing that I thought was really interesting was the storytelling aspect of throughout the story, we get to see glimpses of the world turn into chaos. Like the government's going to DEFCON 2, people are getting water and food to evacuate somewhere. It all made sense in a way because it's like Disclosure Day is something massive, like something that brings people together in a way. That's done really well, how people would react to truth. Would you be frightened of it? Would you be amazed by it? I mean, I don't think you'll be... I think you'll be frightened because there's all the things with happening to aliens and sci-fi, like Independence Day, for example. When people are just like, "Oh my God, the aliens are here! Oh, we're gonna make peace!" And then
it's like Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, which was a film that I watched because I watched all the Spielberg films. He's done. He's so done.
I feel like this is going to be the Rickroll of this entire episode. He's going to say something like, there was a camera. And I know that was in Steven Spielberg's films. I watched all the Steven Spielberg films.
Oh, God, no, setting me up for a big payoff to all
And
this.
John Williams, I watched every film.
Music by John
there.
Williams, yes! Incredible score that he brings to this film. Just like Spielberg, where you think, can he still do it? Can he still provide something that I've never seen and that blows my mind? Yes, he can. The first time this film plays music, it stood out to me. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think we've had any music up until this point. Williams really sells it, especially the ending. The ending is so powerful, so emotional. We're going to get there. I think that this whole film, the backdrop of it, all the kind of political tensions rising and rising, it feels like real life. It feels like any scenario recently where you're trying to get on with life and it just feels like the world is burning outside. And I think that it's so interesting that they do think that, like, yeah, this kind of revelation is enough to make the world stop. And I wonder if, I think you bring up an interesting point. Is that actually what would happen? Because there is so much kind of whistleblowing and half-truths. I think it's so interesting to think about all that. And there are people out there who say, like, who cares about Spielberg? He's been around for years. We should be watching stuff like Backrooms Obsession. We should be looking at like new directors, new people. Like, it doesn't matter if people aren't going to see Disclosure Day. And to that I say, shut up. Because there is space for everybody here. And I think that it is just as important and just as vital for people like Kane Parsons and Curry Barker to be making films, and people like Steven Spielberg having films at the same time. We cannot underestimate how much all these people have to say. And Spielberg absolutely... Some filmmakers later in their career, you watch a film and they're like, your finger isn't even on the pulse. Your finger isn't even on the arm. Your finger's over here. Like, you've lost it. Go home, pack it up. Spielberg's finger is so firmly on the pulse that I'm like, mate, calm down. Leave some for the rest of us.
He does not stop. It's just mind-blowing to think that he has this still. And I watched Spielberg's films. Yes, I watched...
Oh, have you watched all of them, though?
All of them. But spoilers, let's get into it. We have to talk about the ending is something that absolutely brought me to tears, guys.
Did it?
Yeah, because of how
amazing.
Seeing all the alien spaceships as the newsreels show every piece of evidence, what could happen in the real world. And I thought that was so cool. With the music as well, John Williams' score, like, so whimsical and uplifting. Also sad as well, with the idea that the aliens, they died coming here, or they got experimented upon. Seeing that it's like, you're not alone in the universe, that to me was so hopeful in a way of like what the world is going to, where the world is heading. To me, the ending was like the most hopeful thing. And with Emily Blunt saying, with the final shot, with the final image that we get to see, it's her saying, listen. And that brings so many things together with this. We have
Oh
to
man.
listen. We have to listen
Yeah.
to everybody and also listen maybe to the rest of the universe and see what we have in common or what we love. And beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I knew when they wheel the old alien in, the alien speaks Josh O'Connor, Josh translates it to Emily Blunt, and she goes up to the camera, and I was like, there's no way they're going to show us what she says. They're not going to be able to live up to the expectation of what words could bring all this together. But just to cut it as she says, listen. Oh my God. Oh my God. It truly
Peak.
is. Oh, wow. We are kind of narrated through all of this stuff as well by a reporter who isn't a main character at all. We only see her in the context of all this stuff being released. And her reaction is so raw. She's so shocked and moved by what she's seeing. It would be so easy for that performance to ruin it all, but it doesn't. She
No.
brings just one of the most real and
The
yeah.
fact that we get to see so many people's reaction on the phones and people would be on their
Yes.
phones.
Cars have stopped. Like this
Yeah.
genuinely is everyone is speechless. The news people are speechless. The people on the street are speechless. Even Colin Firth, who has spent the whole time trying to stop them from releasing information, is like, mate, I'm gonna sit on this chair and I'm just gonna watch it happen because there's nothing I can do. It's too far gone. And I thought that was
Yeah.
so interesting. And all that footage looked so real. Sometimes an alien film can be ruined because the alien looks bad, because the CGI is bad. This is not one of those times. The aliens feel so real and there's so much emotion from seeing them. This is what I was talking about earlier. The eyes of the aliens are where you draw a lot of the emotion from. And this film takes the classic little green man design of the alien. It's very 50s, but it's a thing that we don't really see a lot of anymore. And to me, this film is like the swan song for the little green man. It's the ending of that narrative. This film is in conversation with every alien film and every sci-fi film that's ever been made, and the very nature of discourse and conspiracy and paranoia. It has a very truthful, honest look at the good that this can do and the bad as well. And when we see that old alien who can't even stand on its own, who has clearly been living here for a long time and is like an elderly version of the little green man, that to me is like saying goodbye to this whole era of thought in America. And for that being to speak to the human race and for that to be distilled, all that we get from it, as you said, is listen. I did not expect these kinds of levels. I did not expect to be saying goodbye to a whole era in this film.
I was the same bit as you were, like stunned. What was he on? Making this like because we used to be like when movies had that obsession with aliens. There's truth out there. We don't really have movies like that to tell stories of what could happen in this world today. It feels really sad, but also really powerful at the same time. It's such an incredible third act. I never felt so locked in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the cinema. And I loved the whole journey with Emily Blunt's character, with the idea of like she goes back to her childhood home.
Yeah.
That was incredible, but also sad again because she has to relive all the trauma. There is truth in there with memories. Like they build her entire house in some warehouse, and that connection brings so many things together, and you see it again.
It's so amazing, and her story also comes full circle in the sense that at the beginning she wants to be more than just a weather person. She wants to be a news anchor, and she gets the opportunity to do that, and she kind of comes back into the newsroom, and we kind of get a repeat of that wanna when they go into the newsroom, and this time they kind of bring everything together, and she's like, listen, everyone, you need to listen to me. I think that was really great. I think that I would have maybe liked the beginning to set up that newsroom kind of a little bit more, so when we came back and all the people finally respected her, I was a little bit more like, yeah, it's all coming together. The build-up didn't really hit me until the actual thing started playing on screen. But when it did hit, I mean, oh my God, we're just talking about a guy at just the top of his game, just absolutely incredible craft. I have my ranking of the Spielberg films because I did watch all of them. I've got it written down, and I haven't put Disclosure Day on it yet. But I mean, it's up there. It really is. And that's such an impressive feat for me to think that this film manages to hit the caliber of such an artist. Yeah, man. I love movies.
I love movies. I'm going to be listening to John Williams' score today. Wow. I'm surprised that they filmed this on 35mm. It just has this organic look. Again,
it did. It looked amazing. The grain to it was brilliant. When was the last time you watched E.T.?
Oh, God, that was years ago. But I loved it. I still love it. To this day.
Listen. I hadn't watched E.T. in about 15 years when I did my big Spielberg rewatch, and I think it might be my favorite film of all time now after having rewatched it. Especially after Disclosure Day and The Fabelmans as well. Like everything you know about Spielberg as a filmmaker and the things that he's interested in and his life. Rewatch E.T. That goes to anyone listening. If you haven't watched E.T. recently, do it. It may just give you the same kind of emotional, biblical experience that it did for me. But just, Spielberg, thank you for your service. Can't wait for the next one.
Yes, give me the Western.
Can we figure out a way to make Steven Spielberg immortal? Can we maybe put some funding into that so we can make movies forever?
We can make a clone and then just...
Oh my God, the Spielberg clone. But for now, we've only got one Spielberg, the one and only, and we have Disclosure Day. What are you going to give it out of 10?
A 9 out of 10.
Me too. What a picture. Thank you everybody for listening. If you liked it, you can like it, follow, all that good stuff. Next week, Toy Story 5. I'm so excited.
Toy Story 5? What's next? Toy Story 6?
Not in my world.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, God. You can send us an email. Let us know your thoughts on Toy Story 5 and we'll answer it on the podcast next week.
Yes, you can follow us on Instagram at @OutOfTimeFilmPod. If you want to follow us on Twitter and TikTok, all that jazz in the description below. Thanks to Zain for the amazing... I was about to say wallpaper, but you don't do wallpaper.
Thanks for the wallpaper, Zain.
Thanks for the wallpaper. It's here in my room. Thank you for the thumbnails.
And Zain just got married. Happy marriage. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Fantastic. That's why this video has a terrible thumbnail made by me.
Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme and Ronan for the vocals as always. And I think that's everything. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.